Warriors. This is Jaylyn, my legal warrior, and today we have a very special guest, Stacy Roby, and she's going to be talking to you about homeschooling. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Jaylyn, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for joining us today and also just, collaborating with me generally. I'm really excited to interview you about our topic.
Well, you're welcome. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, for those of you who do not know who Stacy Roby is, she is a realtor and she's co-owner with her husband, Keith Roby, of the Roby Company real estate brokerage in San Diego. Their brokerage represents both buyers and sellers for residential and investment real estate in San Diego and Riverside counties. Prior to joining her husband in his real estate business in 2001, Stacy was a teacher in the public education system for 11 years, working as a resource specialist, providing individualized education for students with learning disabilities. In addition, Stacy's a mom of 4 daughters from 13 years old to 38 and grandma to 6 grandchildren. Currently, her youngest daughter attends a public charter school, which is a combination of in-class and online homeschool activities. So that is quite the experience that you have with homeschooling. So my first question is, what prompted you to do it? Like, why are you doing homeschooling? And has there really been any changes since COVID-19 hit?
Well, the biggest reason why we chose homeschooling, my husband and I, for our daughter, is that, after going through the public education, she is an artist. So she's a musician, she's got a creative thinking brain, and the education system at the middle school was more conducive to kids that could take and sit in their classroom and listen and not do necessarily hands-on activities to be able to learn. And so we decided that we wanted to give her more time to explore her creativity. She's a songwriter, a guitarist, pianist, and so we moved her to a charter school where she goes to school. She has 6 classes, and so she does get that interaction with students. She has lunch there, and then she does everything else online or at home and turns her assignments in. The other bonus about it is class size is no more than 23. And so that is a huge bonus. It's a very small, tight-knit community, and it was just better than sending her to a very large middle school. And she started in 6th grade, and at first she didn't want to go. She wanted to go with her friends. I mean, she'd been at the same elementary school since kindergarten, and give it a try. If you really, really don't like it, you can always go back. And she ended up loving it. And so that we're in her, she's in 7th grade now, loves going to, charter school. She didn't like public school. So the learning is still happening. Her math program is completely online. It's a program called Teaching Textbooks, and she's able to go online, take and do the lesson. And it's kind of, it's interesting. It's not a game, but they'll show you examples. And then if you don't get it, they'll go, wrong, nice try. Let's show you how to do it. and then if she's still having difficulty with the concept, which for the most part, she's been getting, 90 to 100% on almost every area, we can also use a program called Khan Academy. It's KHAN. It's free for the public. You go log in, you search a subject, it's all math and sciences. And so it's a great place for everybody all over the world to be able to learn about math and sciences. If you're having, it's an enrichment is the way I look at it. So she's been very happy, and she's learned independent skills, which I don't know if you necessarily learn when you're going to school 5 days a week. I mean, she has assignment dates, and she knows she has to get the work done. And when she doesn't get the work done, her teachers tell her. and she gets the consequences, and she's very responsible and doesn't like to disappoint. So it's worked really well for us. Don't know if it works for everyone, but it's been a great bonus to our family.
Well, you just said that you don't know if it would necessarily work for everybody. Do you, by any chance, know what kind of families it wouldn't work for?
The families that it probably wouldn't work for are the kids that are just not motivated to do work, that, oh, I have a responsibility, I need to take care of it. Sometimes it might not be good for, especially if, parents, um, you know, have to work and there's no supervision. That's another thing that could make it really challenging, especially with the younger ones. I don't know if it would have been the best thing for her, kindergarten through third. She had a phenomenal uh, education at the public sector. But when it hit fourth grade, that's where it kind of got a little, it got more challenging for the way she learned. And so it was really, it depends. Not everybody wants their kids at home, you know, the whole time. Sometimes school is that time where, they get a break and they can do the things that they need to do, especially if they have more than one. Right now, I only have, one daughter at home, and she's extremely independent. She wasn't when she first started, though. So that's something you've got to put the time in, make sure there's a structure, we get up at the same time, we do the same routine every day, just as if she was getting up to go to school. So having that structure is imperative, which is what schools provide. And that's why parents, like the school system. I think it can be done in a shorter amount of time. I think there's a lot of fluff in the education system at this time. And I think with what's happened with COVID-19 and parents having to teach their kids at home, they're learning that, do they really need to be there 6.5 hours a day? Could we get it done in 4? And can we do a better job of teaching kids real life skills versus things that may not really make them productive adults?
My other question relates to cost. Does this actually cost you anything, or is it funded by the government or the county or the school
It
district?
is it is a public charter school. So it's a public education charter school.
So what are some tips our viewership can use if they are thinking about shifting to homeschooling today?
One of the tips I would do is make sure that you have a dedicated space for your student to work. You definitely need to have, my daughter has a Chromebook. The Chromebooks are, reasonably priced. They have a camera in them, so she can actually do, virtual meetings if she needs to. She needs to be able to have access to Google Docs, because a lot of her school is exclusive Google Docs, and that is, and schedule a time. So, you get up at the same time every day. You start your, you have your, breakfast, you start your school day, you take your lunch, around the same time, and, have a schedule. I use Google for my Google Calendar for my schedule. So I have a schedule. My daughter has one. My husband has one, and I just block off times. And those are the times that she takes and works on her assignments. So a charter school is not specific to a school district. It gives you lots of different options. I know that I believe San Diego Unified has specific charter schools for different, like I know they have a theater charter school. They have a science magnet. And so those are other types of different charter schools within, like San Diego Unified, that you could have your student be part of. A lot of times they'll want, little, parent participation, which is not a significant amount of time.
Well, thank you so much, Stacy. I definitely loved having you on our channel and joining us, with My Legal Warrior. And if our viewership wanted to get a hold of you and maybe, contact you not only about real estate, but homeschooling and the public charter system, how can they get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is probably via email at, Stacy at the robycompany.com. And I'm, I, I love to talk to people about education. As a previous educator, I've been at the education system. I've seen the strengths and weaknesses, and I want to support what's most important to helping kids succeed. Is really that's my goal, and it's a passion of mine. I mean, I'm passionate about real estate too, and I love to help home buyers and sellers. But the education has always been there for me because it was my first love and my first career.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll definitely make sure to include your email then. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you have a blessed week, Warriors. And thank you again, Stacy, for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jalen.
Of course.